Hello, I'm the Odd One Scout. Come closer as I tell you a story of something that happened down in Mexico. You all know about a furry red monster named Elmo, but the reason why he is red is quite spine-tingling. Now, before we get to that, take a listen to this audio.
Elmo dice que cuando estés dormido te va a cargar la verga.
I know what you are thinking. What is with the generic lullaby music in the background and what the heck did Elmo just say? Well, thankfully enough, I am able to translate part of it. The words Elmo says translates as follows. Elmo says, pick up the phone. It may not be an exact translation, but it is close enough. The reason for the lullaby music is where this story begins. It all started when I browsed YouTube back in 2006. I don't know how I got hold of it, but all I can remember is that the video title and description were in Spanish. I wanted to know more about this ringtone's existence, so I asked the user who uploaded the audio to find some info on the ringtone. Luckily, the user, who is now sadly terminated for unknown reasons, sent me an article about where it came from. The article that he sent me really shocked me and made me realize the true side of Elmo. I can still remember what the article said. Here it goes. It all happened on October 8, 2002, in a local daycare in Mexico. The children in the daycare were doing the things they like to do, as always. Soon, the person at the daycare came to check on them. She decided to have them watch TV. So, she turned on an episode of Sesame Street, or Plaza Sésamo, as it is called. The children watched it, and all of a sudden Elmo's World came on. They were excited because they really liked Elmo. The episode that they were watching was the episode about music. Later that night, as the daycare closed and the person who works there went home, the children were asleep at the daycare. Everything was quiet. Then, suddenly something happened that made the children wake up. The children decided to look around the daycare for what caused it, but found absolutely nothing. At once they heard a strange noise and saw a trail of red liquid. You know of what I speak. Being curious, the kids followed the trail, which to them looked like red paint. It led them to a basement that they had never been to and have never been told about. They look around when one of the children finds a DVD on the ground. Since there was a TV with a DVD player hooked up, coincidentally they put in the DVD and turned on the TV. At first, the TV just showed a black background. However, a couple of seconds later, it faded into a part of a baby's room, which showed a window with a rocking chair that was via radio. There was also a baby crib and 3 different pictures. One featured a face of a frog, which was smiling creepily. Another one featured a house on a hill, but something about the house was completely out of model. However, the last one was a picture of Elmo, but he looked deformed. Elmo had red eyes instead of his usual eyes. His nose looked different from his regular nose, and he was shown to be crying in the picture. As they watched, a silhouette of a creepy old lady with very long hair turned on the radio and walked off screen. The song, of course, was generic lullaby music. However, it was extended. A few seconds later, a silhouette that looked like Elmo appeared through the window. To quote Patrick from SpongeBob SquarePants, he was just standing there, menacingly. And then, he opened the window. Elmo then crawled toward the center of the screen until he was not seen. Then, about 10 seconds later, Elmo's face came up completely close to the screen, with blood in his eyes and frowning. Just like the picture. Elmo then...
Elmo dice que cuando estés dormido te va a cargar la verga.
Before slowly going back down off screen. The DVD then faded out, and it showed a strange variant of the Sesame Workshop logo. The logo had scary organ music, with creepy laughter at the end. The house exploded blood as well as parts of a dead body. The background was black as well. The house then caught on fire and burnt into ashes at the end. After that, everything fell silent again as the screen became black. The DVD ended, and the children were scared and confused at the same time. Eventually the daycare was closed down. The person who was digging there found the DVD. Out of curiosity, he brought it home to find out what the DVD had in store. So eventually, he decides to put it in his DVD player after seeing it. He saw the same thing that the children at the daycare saw, but the baby's room instead took place at a different angle. It instead showed some toys on a shelf as well as a poster of a teddy bear running away in fear. It showed another window, however it showed a silhouette of a man just looking out the window. It then panned to the original perspective of the video, but there were a few differences. The crib was nowhere to be seen, and the posters looked different. The fright poster was replaced with a sign reading, "Went on a killing spree. Be back never." The house looked abandoned, and the picture of Elmo was now smiling, with blood in his mouth, with a text reading in Spanish, which translates to, "Elmo will get you." The radio was replaced with a record player which still played the generic lullaby music, but the recording was shortened, just like the clip. When Elmo appeared, he didn't appear through the window, rather he appeared out of nowhere also smiling, with blood in his mouth. Elmo's message remained the same. The Sesame Workshop logo didn't appear this time, but instead a phone number. The man watching the DVD then went to grab the phone and started dialing the number shown on the screen. The number led to an audio, telling him to go to a website so he can download something from there. The man went to the website that the audio said to go to. The website was blank with only a file which was supposed to download automatically when clicked on. The man clicked the file and sure enough it downloaded automatically. But when he opened the file he found that it was the voice clip shown on the DVD. He then considered it to be the creepiest Elmo audio ever. He then decided to make it a ringtone, because they were popular around the 2000s. Eventually, a few years later, when YouTube was first introduced, the man decided to upload the video to YouTube. The video did get a lot of views in Mexico to the point where it has become the most viewed video on YouTube in Mexico. Eventually, in 2008, the video was taken down because of Viacom's copyright frenzy. The man was going to re-upload the video but he lost the DVD because he had to move houses. Even though the video is still gone, the audio still remains on the internet. The user who I mentioned earlier was one of the few who uploaded just the audio of it alone and knew about the origin of it. Now you all know the reason why Elmo is red. It's because he's a bloodthirsty killer, which might explain the children's disappearances the day after the event happened. Oh yes, I forgot to mention that the next day, long before the daycare closed down, the person running the daycare came in only to find a large amount of blood on the floor and some of the children gone. Only one of them remained. The only child remaining was then sent back home safe and sound. That is all. The story is done. I am sort of glad I don't have to see those visuals anymore. Now, if you'll excuse me, I must take a break from these scary things and just relax.